Imagine a freezing winter night, 40,000 years ago. The pack is moving. They have to. Predators are tracking their scent, and food is miles away. But there's a problem. Deep in the back, an old man is limping. His knees are ruined. His teeth are gone. Every step is agonizing. In a world where speed equals survival, slowing down is a death sentence. So what happens next? Does the tribe leave him behind to be eaten alive? Or do they do something that completely changes everything we know about human nature? For decades, we've been told a specific story about our ancestors: survival of the fittest, a brutal, merciless race against extinction where the weak were discarded. If you couldn't hunt, you didn't eat. If you couldn't run, you were left in the dark. And for a long time, scientists believed this was the absolute truth. After all, wild animals don't build retirement homes. When an old wolf can no longer hunt, the pack moves on. But then, archaeologists started digging deep inside dark, undisturbed caves, and what they found buried in the dirt shocked them. Our journey begins with a single, disturbing discovery in a cave in France. Scientists uncovered the skull of an ancient human who lived nearly 180,000 years ago. But when they looked closer at the jawbone, they noticed something impossible. The man had lost all his teeth. Not right before he died, years before. The immediate problem: in the Paleolithic era, there were no blenders, there was no soft food. Meat was tough, roots were fibrous, and survival required intense chewing. Without teeth, starvation was guaranteed within weeks. Except, this man didn't starve. The bone where his teeth used to be had completely healed. He had lived for years as a senior citizen without the ability to chew a single bite of food. How? The answer is as beautiful as it is uncomfortable. Someone else was chewing his food for him. Every single day, members of his tribe would hunt, cook, pre-chew the meat, and feed it to him. But this raises an even bigger question. Why waste precious energy on someone who can no longer contribute to the hunt? To understand why, we have to look at an even more incredible discovery: a place called Shanidar Cave in modern-day Iraq. Here, researchers found the remains of a Neanderthal, known today as Shanidar I. He was old for his time, around 45 years old, but his bones told a horrific story of physical trauma. He had a massive blow to the side of his face that left him blind in one eye. His right arm was fractured in multiple places and completely withered away. He walked with a severe, agonizing limp due to a deformed foot. By all laws of nature, Shanidar I should have died in his 20s. He couldn't hunt, he couldn't defend himself, he couldn't even run away from danger. But he didn't die. He lived for decades. His wounds hadn't just healed, they showed signs of long-term care. The tribe had carried him, they had protected him, they had kept him alive at a massive cost to their own survival. But here is where things become strange, because this wasn't always a peaceful, happy story. But the real problem wasn't just survival. It was something far worse. Because while some tribes went to extreme lengths to protect their elderly, other discoveries paint a much darker picture. In times of extreme famine, when ice covered the earth and there were no animals to hunt, a terrible choice had to be made, and almost nobody saw it coming. When resources hit absolute zero, compassion became a luxury our ancestors couldn't afford. In some ancient cultures, when an elder realized they were becoming a fatal burden to their children, a ritual occurred. It's a practice known as Senicide or Senicide. Imagine walking out into a blinding blizzard voluntarily, knowing you will never return, just so your grandchildren can eat your share of the remaining meat. Anthropologists have found evidence that in extreme environments, elders would willingly ask to be left behind on ice floes or left in abandoned caves with just a small fire and a tiny cup of water. It wasn't done out of hatred, it was done out of the ultimate form of love, a sacrifice for the continuation of the bloodline. But this brings us to the ultimate paradox.
If keeping old people alive was such a dangerous risk, why did human evolution allow us to grow old in the first place? Why didn't we evolve to just drop dead the moment our reproductive years were over? Segment 4. The secret weapon of humanity. The answer lies in something scientists call the grandmother hypothesis. Think about it. A lion knows how to hunt because of instinct, but humans survive on data. Before books, before Google, and before writing, the elderly were the first external hard drives of the human race. Imagine a massive drought hits the valley. The rivers dry up, the plants die. The young chief of the tribe, who is 20 years old, has never seen anything like this. He doesn't know what to do. But in the back of the cave sits a 50-year-old grandmother. She remembers. She tells the tribe, "When I was a little girl, this happened. If we walk 3 days north past the black rocks, there is a hidden spring that never dries up." Suddenly, the old person who cannot run is the only reason the entire tribe survives.
The elderly didn't just survive because of empathy. They survived because they were humanity's secret weapon. They knew which berries were poisonous. They knew how to predict the weather by looking at the moon. They knew how to birth babies when complications arose. While the young provided the muscle, the old provided the mind. They were the keepers of fire, the keepers of myth, and the keepers of survival. And maybe that's why the story still matters today. In our modern world, we often push the elderly to the sidelines, forgetting the immense wealth of time and experience they hold. But thousands of years ago, under the cold glow of cave fires, our ancestors knew better. They chewed food for the toothless. They carried the broken. Because they realized that without the past, there was absolutely no hope for the future.